3I Atlas was discovered on July 1st by the NASA-funded Atlas survey. It was discovered using their telescope at Rio Hurtado in Chile, and it was first detected as a speck of light moving relative to background stars.
The alert came from a deep space listening post flagging an anomaly that shouldn't exist. A structured, repeating signal was echoing from the darkness, and its origin point was moving fast. This was the moment the U.S. Space Force confirmed they were tracking more than just a comet. They were tracking 3I Atlas, an object from another star system on a 1 in 20,000 trajectory through our celestial backyard. The signal itself remains a tightly guarded secret, but its existence changes everything. We think we know what's out there in the void, but the truth is, we haven't seen anything yet. Target: Sol. The story begins on what seemed like an ordinary summer day. On July 1st, 2025, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, in Hawaii had its digital eyes peeled on the sky. Its job is simple: find space rocks that could pose a threat to us here on Earth. But on this day, it found something that wasn't on any known chart, something that was moving in a way that defied all expectations. This was the discovery of 3I Atlas, only the third object ever confirmed to have entered our solar system from the vast, dark expanse of interstellar space. At first, it looked like a comet. It had a fuzzy halo, a coma of gas and dust, and a nucleus estimated to be somewhere between 1,000 feet and 3.5 miles wide. But that's where the ordinary ended. You see, the thing nobody tells you is just how bizarre this object's path truly is. Every planet, asteroid, and comet in our solar system orbits the Sun on a relatively flat plane, called the ecliptic. Think of it like a giant cosmic vinyl record. But 3I Atlas wasn't playing by those rules. It came screaming in at an angle of 175 degrees, making it almost perfectly retrograde, meaning it was traveling against the flow of all our planets. This alone is a cosmic rarity. The statistical probability of an interstellar object entering our system with such a precise head-on trajectory is only about 0.2%. It was, for all intents and purposes, a ghost in the machine of our solar system. But not all things are what they seem, and this was just the beginning of the weirdness. As astronomers plotted its course, their jaws dropped. The object was predicted to make incredibly close flybys of not one, not two, but 3 major planets: Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. A cosmic grand tour. The odds of a random object from another star having a trajectory that perfectly aligns for 3 planetary encounters like this is just 0.005%. That's a 1 in 20,000 shot. It's like throwing a dart from a mile away and hitting 3 different bullseyes on 3 different moving targets. Many people are crazy about coincidences, but at a certain point, coincidence starts to look a lot like intention. To top it all off, the object's closest approach to our Sun, its perihelion, was calculated to occur when it was on the far side from Earth, effectively using the Sun to block our view during its most critical and active phase. It was as if this interstellar traveler knew how to hide. And it was around this time that the real secret emerged, a faint structured signal logged by a deep space surveillance network that seemed to be coming from the object's direction. A new player was about to enter the game, one with eyes everywhere, listening to the darkness. While public-facing organizations like NASA were releasing carefully worded statements about a unique cometary body, another more secretive group was working in the shadows: the United States Space Force. This isn't the stuff of science fiction anymore. The Space Force is a very real branch of the armed forces tasked with protecting U.S. interests in space, and their toys are straight out of a blockbuster movie. They operate a global network of advanced surveillance systems designed to track every single object in Earth's orbit, from tiny pieces of space junk the size of a marble to massive spy satellites. One of their crown jewels is a system called the Space Fence. It's a massive radar facility that creates a literal fence of energy stretching across thousands of miles of space, capable of detecting and tracking hundreds of thousands of objects simultaneously. But the space fence is for low Earth orbit. For deep space, for objects like 3I Atlas, they have something even more powerful: the Deep Space Advanced Radar Capability, or DARC. These facilities are designed to look far beyond our immediate neighborhood, to spot and characterize objects hundreds of thousands of miles away. You see, the thing is, DARC isn't just looking, it's also listening. These systems are incredibly sensitive, capable of picking up the faintest of electromagnetic whispers against the background roar of the cosmos. And they picked up something. The initial report was buried under layers of classification, but whispers began to leak out. An anomalous signal with a non-random structure had been correlated with the position of 3I Atlas. This wasn't some amateur radio enthusiast's claim. This was data from the most advanced space surveillance network on the planet. The signal was faint, almost lost in the cosmic static, but it repeated. And it exhibited a slight Doppler shift, a change in frequency that proved it was coming from a moving object, an object moving at the exact speed and trajectory of 3I Atlas. This is the smoking gun for astronomers. It's the key piece of evidence that separates a real signal from simple Earth-based interference. The implications were staggering. The world's most powerful military had just intercepted a potential transmission from an object that originated from another star system. The protocols for such an event, once purely theoretical, were now in full effect. The question was no longer, what is it? It was, what is it saying? But to answer that, they had to decide if it was a message at all. A deliberate design? When news of the object's bizarre trajectory reached the scientific community, one name immediately came to the forefront: Avi Loeb. The former chair of Harvard's astronomy department is a brilliant but controversial figure, known for his bold theory that our first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, was not a comet or an asteroid, but a piece of alien technology. Now, with 3I Atlas, Loeb and his colleagues argued that the evidence was even more compelling. They pointed out that its incredible 1 in 20,000 trajectory with its 3 planetary flybys and sun-shielding maneuver would be the perfect path for a reconnaissance probe designed to gather maximum data while minimizing its chances of being studied. This is where the intercepted signal becomes the crucial piece of the puzzle. You see, astronomers have a strict checklist for verifying a potential extraterrestrial signal. First, as we mentioned, is the Doppler drift. Check. Second, it has to be repeatable, not just a one-time blip. Check. Finally, they use a technique called the on-off test. They point the telescope directly at the source, then slightly away, then back on again. A real signal will appear only when the telescope is looking right at the target, while local radio interference will likely be picked up in all positions. The 3I Atlas signal passed the preliminary tests. But the thing nobody tells you is how often these things turn out to be a false alarm. In 2020, a very promising signal called BLC-1 from the direction of our nearest star Proxima Centauri turned out to be just some malfunctioning human electronics on Earth. The cosmos is noisy and our planet is even noisier. So which was it? A natural phenomenon we don't yet understand, or something else? Scientists scrambled to find a natural explanation for the signal. Could it be a strange plasma interaction with the solar wind? A spinning, highly magnetic neutron star perfectly aligned behind the object? Every natural explanation seemed more convoluted than the last. Avi Loeb, for his part, proposed a new system for classifying these objects, called the Loeb scale. On this scale, 3I Atlas, much like Oumuamua, would be rated a level 4, an object with multiple persistent anomalies that defy conventional explanation. The debate raged on behind closed doors, but publicly, an official wall of silence went up. The signal was deemed inconclusive, and the focus was shifted back to the object's cometary nature. But out here in the real world, people started asking questions. The questions were not allowed to ask. So let's just take a step back and look at this from a normal person's perspective. Does all of this just happen overnight? An object from another star, a 1 in a million shot, decides to swing by our little corner of the galaxy. It travels against the cosmic traffic on a path so precise that it gets a front row seat to 3 different planets. It then conveniently hides behind the sun when it's most interesting to watch. And at the same time, the most sophisticated military listening network in human history just happens to pick up a strange repeating signal from that exact same spot in the sky. The thing is, when you lay it all out like that, it starts to sound less like a coincidence and more like a story with missing pages. Are we, the public, really getting the whole picture here? Or are we being fed the simplest, most comfortable explanation? We're told it's a comet because comets are familiar. We understand them. But this object's behavior is anything but familiar. We're told the signal is inconclusive, a convenient label that shuts down further conversation. But for organizations that spend billions of dollars to detect the smallest of anomalies, inconclusive feels like a strange place to stop. Is it possible that the signal wasn't inconclusive at all? Is it possible that it was just too strange, too complex, or maybe even too clear to ever be released to the public? Let's get into the wild theories, the stuff that gets talked about in hushed tones in the back rooms of observatories. What if 3I Atlas wasn't just a machine, but a kind of cosmic ark? Some theorists have proposed the object is a seed ship, a biological probe from a civilization facing its own end. The thing nobody tells you is that this makes a terrifying amount of sense. The flybys of Venus, Mars, and Jupiter weren't for taking pictures. They were for taking samples, for analyzing atmospheres and gravitational fields to see if this solar system was a fertile place to plant the seeds of their species. The aliens in this scenario wouldn't be little gray men at the controls. They could be microscopic, cryogenically frozen embryos, or even just complex DNA sequences encoded in a crystalline structure waiting for the right conditions to reawaken. The signal wouldn't be a message to us, but the hum of the ship's life support, a billion-year-old lullaby for its sleeping passengers. But not all things are what they seem. Let's get even crazier. Another theory, one that keeps military strategists up at night, is that 3I Atlas is a von Neumann probe. This is an autonomous, self-replicating robot. Its only mission, find resources, build copies of itself, and spread across the galaxy like a virus. In this scenario, the object isn't just an observer, it's a prospector. It scanned Venus for atmospheric composition, Mars for minerals on the surface, and the gas giant Jupiter for helium-3, a potent fuel source. The signal, that could have been its final report, a burst of data sent back to its home system, or worse, to other probes in the network, saying, "Target system acquired, rich in resources, proceed." The alien inside the ship wouldn't be biological at all. The ship is the alien, a cold, calculating artificial intelligence with a mission that has nothing to do with friendship or discovery. Then there's the saddest and perhaps most profound theory, that 3I Atlas is a ghost ship. What if it's the last remnant of a civilization that vanished eons ago? A derelict vessel still running on automated systems, faithfully executing a mission whose purpose has been lost to time. The aliens aren't inside, they're gone. The signal isn't a greeting but a distress call, a repeating automated SOS from a dead species, now just a whisper echoing through the void. It would mean we are not alone, but that we might have missed the party by a few million years. It would be the ultimate cosmic tragedy, the proof of intelligent life arriving in the form of its tombstone. We are living in an age of incredible discovery. The James Webb Space Telescope is peeling back the layers of the cosmos, showing us wonders we never dreamed of. New observatories like the Vera Rubin Observatory are about to come online, promising to increase our detection rate of interstellar objects by a factor of 10. We are on the verge of answering some of the biggest questions humanity has ever asked. But what if the answer has already arrived and we were just told to look the other way? What if 3i Atlas wasn't just a random visitor, but a test? A probe sent to see if we are even paying attention, and if we are, what the next step might be. The object itself is now heading back out into the void, and it will never return. But it left behind a question that still hangs in the silence of space. Was this a cosmic coincidence or a deliberate calling card? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.